Okay, so now we're moving on to basing. We're just going to do a very simple standard base. We're going to be using watered down PVA glue and sand. First off, we're going to take a bit of a shortcut. We're going to reuse the Calvin Brown foundation paint, and we're going to paint the top of the base brown. That way there won't be any black showing through. And I'm going to take a bit of a shortcut here and not bother thinning it down. So just neat Calvin Brown just on the base. It's going to be a bit awkward for you to see.
It's quite interesting the way it goes on a non-primed base, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can really see the difference.
It's
slippy and slidey.
very much so.
However, I do have to say, Gareth is looking in the business.
Yeah, oh, I've got to write his name on his base apparently.
Oh, you don't really. Just put GC on it or something. Just so we know which ones are which. Not that there'll be much of a problem to tell at the moment.
Okay, you want to be careful when you're going near his feet.
So this is very careful, small strokes then.
Yep. Basically, we don't want any of the black base to show through because the sand mixture, sometimes you can get
gaps.
Yeah. And I haven't got any static grass, so...
This is one of those things really though, you can be as complicated as you wish once you get good at it with bases, can't you?
You certainly can.
I mean, I've seen some staggering ones. I mean, basically you just go and see what you can pick up out your front garden and wash it.
Yeah. You know, I've just gone and put on his soul.
Fortunately, a bit of water should sort that out.
Ah, doesn't taste very nice.
It's delicious.
Okay, so this is the only time I would not water the paints down.
Yep.
This is, and you know, we'll get coverage in one coat because it's the new foundation paint. So there's still the odd bits of black showing through, but once it's got the PVA and sand on hand, we've painted and dry brushed the sand. That will all be done. So give it a couple of minutes to dry. That's all you should need with the foundation layer.
Right,
foundation
so we'll pause and come back then in a couple of minutes. Go.
Okay, so now that foundation layer, the foundation Calvin Brown has dried, we're going to start with the basing. And the first thing you need is PVA glue or white glue, Copydex.
The stuff we used to eat at school.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Make sure it's water soluble.
It's basically the stuff that doesn't stink of alcohol.
Yep.
Well, not alcohol, it's ethanol based.
And
you might want to check there's not a seal on it.
Yeah, this is
thick as goo.
So that's actually all we'll need for one base. I use the Games Workshop branded stuff because as we have noticed, I am a Games Workshop tart.
Oh, good man.
But any brand of PVA glue will be good.
We should start selling our own brand and just advertise that in the videos.
Yeah, yeah.
Special prime it up brand.
Okay, I'm going to switch brushes. This is the Citadel large dry brush. Don't use your good brushes for mixing PVA. And all we're going to do is add the water. I'll just show you the water. We've used the same water, so it's very dark.
That looks delicious.
Kind of looks like flat Coke.
That's what we've been making you eat for the past 3 days, I reckon.
Oh yes. And as you can see, it does pass its colour onto the
quite a nice light kind of grey brown.
Yep. So there we go. It's a bit hard to see, but and we won't be sucking the brush.
This is a good point actually, I'm glad you mentioned that.
So, because we don't need to keep a point on this because it's a dry brush. But you always use an old brush for your PVA. And all we do is just paint it carefully. We don't want to get it on the actual miniature's feet. And once again, I'm sorry it looks a bit clumsy, but this isn't how I normally paint. I normally paint with a thing about 2 centimetres from the eyes. But a tutorial about the back of my head wouldn't be very interesting.
Unless we were a dermatologist.
I said that was a medical problem.
There we go.
Okay, so we've got our PVA on the base.
Good coverage as well.
And we need to take the miniature off. Now I've got a little tub.
Just a shot of that.
So just put the lid down.
Is this again Games Workshop brand?
Yeah, this is from the Games Workshop 40k basing kit.
Though presumably you could just wash some sand and pebbles.
Yeah. This is a mix of beach sand and the Games Workshop sand. So
it looks like he's having a lovely play in a sandpit. It's important to make sure that all the rest of the paint on your model is dry.
definitely, yeah. Otherwise you'll get a very lumpy miniature.
He'll look like he's been sunbathing just before battle.
Right, so
I'm sorry there, I'm not showing what Rob's doing, so I do apologise.
it's just
I
once
just
you
realised he'd gone off camera. I was so fascinated watching what he was doing. He was tapping gently to remove the sand off his figure.
right, so I don't know if you can see that.
We certainly can.
And that we just make sure that it doesn't go over the edge of the base. So I'm just rubbing it with rubbing the rim with my thumb, and if we have a look we can see that fortunately none of it's gone onto the boot. So what we do, we leave this to dry, ideally overnight, but 2 hours, 3 hours, and then we paint another layer of PVA over it, let that dry, and then we paint the sand itself. So we'll come back and do that in a bit.
Although if you are totally impatient, you know, you can just probably work out how to paint the sand for yourself when it comes down to it.
You can actually use super glue as well for real speed, but
I would imagine painting super glue with a brush though must be quite a hazardous experience.
it is. The cyanoacrylate is very pungent.
Well, it's not just that, surely your brush is going to stick quite quickly, so you're going to have to work very fast.
It is, yeah. I mean, I would recommend using maybe a cocktail stick. But,
Definitely not having a little bath of super glue and dipping your fingers in it.
No. So there we go. Like I say, all we've got to do, one more layer of PVA on top. That flattens everything down, provides a better seal. Then once the second layer of PVA is dry, go over it with a smooth coat of snakebite leather, and then dry brush it with bleach bone, which we'll be doing a bit later.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that, Rob. That's been very informative. I've enjoyed watching.